I'm Tam.
And I'm Bob.
Welcome to our adventure.
Alright, it's 7 o'clock. We're in the schooner bar for our shore excursion. The Panoramic Rome. That's where we are today. Panoramic Rome. We're supposed to be here at 7:15, so we're early like always. Pam is with us. Jordan's with us.
Yeah, I'm with her.
She's here in physically, in body, and in spirit, but maybe not in awakeness. Could be.
My mind and my spirit, something my body is.
We arrived in Civitavecchia at 4:30 this morning, as measured by the thrusters coming on in our room. Not in our room, but we could. Sounded like they were in our room. I was dead asleep, and all of a sudden, nope, thrusters are on. I guess we're arriving in Civitavecchia at 4:30 in the morning. So that'll be fun. Looking forward to it. It's like 8:25. We're finally on the bus for the panoramic tour of Rome. We're all the way in the back.
We chose the back.
We chose the back. Seats are a little better than yesterday's bus.
Much better.
Much better. And it's an hour and a half ride from Civitavecchia to Rome.
Ostia. It's still in use today, but it's only used for ferries. It's not used for cruise ships. And the port of Ostia is right next to the international airport of Rome, so 15 miles away from the capital. So Civitavecchia, built in 106 by a Roman emperor whose name was Trajan. If you've never heard of him, you will have heard of Hadrian, who gave his name to Hadrian's Wall. He was the emperor after Trajan. Now, not only cruise ships stop in this port, and it's a busy day today because there's 7 cruise ships. So that's why we had a bit of a hold up with the bus this morning of all the permission for the security to let them all into the port. This is one of the busiest days of the year. 7 cruise ships. Normally maximum is 5, sometimes 6, but never ever 7. Now, not only cruise ships, but also the ferries. And the ferries sail daily to Sardinia, Sicily, Barcelona, the south of France, the island of Malta, and northern Africa. So you can practically sail to anywhere around the Mediterranean from this port. This port is the second busiest port in the Mediterranean after the port of Barcelona. Do you stop in Barcelona? Yeah, okay, listening to me. A brief introduction to what I'm going to talk about later, because when we get to Rome, we have 2,775 years of history to cover in an hour. So it's going to be really intense. So may I give you now, while I said everyone's still listening to me, a brief introduction to what I'm going to talk about. So I'd like to start at the beginning. And the first period was called the 7 Kings. Now the 7 Kings was a period of 244 years, and it started with the foundation of the city of Rome. Rome was built on the 21st of April, 753 before Christ. It was founded by the first king, and his name was Romulus. Do you remember the story, Romulus and Remus? Now, Romulus and Remus were the babies of a Vestal virgin, whose name was Rhea Silvia. Now, Rhea Silvia, she had to abandon the 2 boys, because otherwise herself and the babies would have been buried alive. That was the punishment for these young women who broke the vow of chastity. So, according to the legend, Rhea Silvia, she placed the little boys in a basket on the Tiber River, and the Tiber River is the river that divides ancient Rome in the south and the Vatican in the north, and we're going to see it later. The little basket floated towards the Palatine Hill, which is one of the 7 hills of Rome, and we're going to show you that hill later. They were found by the she-wolf, and the she-wolf is the symbol of the city of Rome, and the 2 little boys were taken to the top of the Palatine Hill. 21st of April, 753 before Christ, Romulus killed his own brother Remus and was crowned the founder of Rome. Now, the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 4th king of Rome, they came from the Sabine Mountains, which is a 3-hour drive east of Rome. The 5th, the 6th, and the last king of Rome, they were Etruscans, and they came from a place called Asia Minor. Today it's known as the west coast of Turkey, and they settled throughout this part of the world. The last king, the 7th, his name was Tarquin the Proud. and he died in the year 509 before Christ. So that was the end of the 7 kings, 244 years. The next period was called the Republic of Rome. Now the Republic lasted for 482 years. So starting in the year 509 BC after the death of the last king, and ending in the year 27 before Christ. Now, the Republic of Rome meant that Rome was ruled by the consuls, the magistrates, the senators, and the dictator, Julius Caesar. Now, Julius Caesar was never a Roman emperor, but after his death, that was the end of the Republic, and the next period then was called Imperial Rome. Now, Imperial Rome started in the year 27 before Christ and ended in 476 after Christ, when we had the fall of the Roman Empire, and that period was 503 years, and that meant Imperial Rome, that Rome was ruled by the Roman emperors. Now, the very first Roman emperor was Julius Caesar's nephew. He was born with the name Octavian. He took the title Caesar Augustus, which meant the Great One, and the Roman emperors, as I said, ruled until the fall of the Roman Empire in 476. Then the city of Rome, it was abandoned for over 1,000 years until the 1600s, when we had the period called the Renaissance, when that meant the rebirth, when Rome was rebuilt under the popes to what it is today. And then what happened after that, I'm going to tell you later. Was that easy for early in the morning? Yeah, so when we get to Rome, you know, and I say dates back to the Republic, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This dates back to Romulus and Remus. You know exactly what time I'm talking about. So it keeps everything a lot interesting for everybody. Cleopatra, the Queen of Egypt. So this is the pyramid on the left-hand side. 36 meters high. It only took 330 days to complete. On the left-hand side of the pyramid, they are the defensive walls of Rome, and that's the reason why this pyramid is still here, because there was actually 3 built during the Republic. This is the only one that remains in Rome today, and the reason it's still here is because it was incorporated into the defensive walls of Rome that were built 300 years after the pyramid. Now these on the right, these are the defensive walls once again, so the Aurelian walls. They took 4 years to build 19 miles of defensive walls that went all the way around the 7 hills of Rome. Only 12 miles remains today, but these walls were built to keep out invasions coming from Northern Europe, from the Goths, the Vandals, and the Barbarians. Now this on the right-hand side is called the Circus Maximus. Has anyone ever seen that movie, Ben-Hur, with Charlton Heston? So that's what happened here, the chariot races. Now just the track remains, which is 800 meters long and 200 meters wide, around the track where you can see the slopes in between the 2 of the 7 hills. That's where you'd find the seating area, 250,000 spectators. Where you can see the medieval tower now on the right, all the way down to the cypress tree at the other end, there's a little path. Can you see in the middle? That's where you'd find the spina, and that was the backbone of the Circus Maximus, and it was decorated with 7 Egyptian obelisks. That's where you would have found the huge, colossal statue of the crazy Emperor Nero. He'd already declared himself a god while he was still alive. And now as we turn the corner, you can see the Colosseum. So you can see why it's called an amphitheatre, double ring theatre. Now it worked just like a modern day stadium today. Everyone had a ticket. They had a marble ticket with the Roman numerals, and that was the number of the entrance gate. It was free entrance because the Roman emperor, he lived longer when the Roman citizens were happy. So you'd enter through the gate, which was on the ground level. So 80 entrance gates. Took your seat depending on how wealthy you were. It depended on where you sat. So the first level, you had the imperial box, you had the Roman emperor, you had the empress, the vestal virgins, the senators, and around the imperial box you had the patricians, so the wealthy landowners. Next level, still sitting down, you had the plebeians, so the poor people, and at the very top you had slaves and females. Now, the last gladiator fight took place here in the 6th century after Christ. It was then abandoned and became a quarry. So that's why there's holes in the Colosseum. It wasn't due to bombing during the Second World War, because Rome was never bombed due to the friendship between Adolf Hitler and Mussolini. It was due to what we call recycling, because people came over, took away the marble. Underneath the marble, they found iron clamps, metal brackets, which were used to make coins and weapons when they were melted down. Because it was inside this building, which is called the Lateran Palace. This is the building where the treaty for the Vatican to be separated from Italy was signed. It was signed on the 11th of February 1929 by Pope Pius XI and the dictator of Italy, Benito Mussolini. So it was Mussolini who gave the popes the Vatican city-state. Independent from Italy, it's a tax-free country. Italy isn't. We pay 22% value-added tax on everything that we purchase. This church on the right is called St. John in the Lateran. St. John the Baptist in the Lateran, because it's right next to the Lateran Palace. This church is the first ever church, Christian church, that was ever built in Rome. So before St. Peter's in the Vatican. Dates back the original church 315 after Christ. This church today is also the Cathedral of Rome, where the Pope is also the bishop. And at the top you can see Jesus in the middle holding a cross and the 12 apostles around him. It's dedicated to the goddesses of water, dates back to 1901, designed by a man from Sicily whose name was Rutelli. And this piazza where we are now, we say piazza, which translated it means the square. It's not a square shape. It was known as Piazza Esedra because of the shape, but since the 2nd of June 1946, when Italy became a republic, it is now Piazza Repubblica.
Pretty, and like
No, but it's
the Louvre was prettier.
it's the seat of the Catholic Church.
I think the Louvre was prettier. The Louvre was much nicer.
Go to the
Gonna get a Polaroid of something.
So I think the room up there with the different colored doors is where the Pope comes out. Sometimes. All the gold and riches are inside the museum.
All the stolen gold.
All the stolen gold.
Inside.
Yeah.
They have to pay stolen money to go see.
Yeah. This monument, unveiled by Pope Francis, is dedicated to the world's migrants and refugees. The Angels Unaware boat by Canadian artist Timothy P. Schmaltz depicts 140 migrants ranging from a Jewish man escaping Nazi Germany to a Syrian refugee fleeing the Civil War. The 20-foot sculpture was unveiled during Mass on the 105th World Day of Migrants and Refugees. Depictions of Christ's parents, Mary and Joseph, have been included in the piece. The piece was inspired by the passage, "Do not forget to show hospitality to strangers, for by so doing, some people have shown hospitality to angels without knowing it." The artist wanted a sculpture that would be inclusive of every migrant experience over the centuries.
That is amazing, that sculpture. People with details.
So I'm just filming you.
Molto piaccarci un culo.
Non mi dici come, capito?
Stavi là, devi rimanere, non ti ho detto niente, non sei voltare. Vai, dai.
Catherine of Aragon, who was the Queen of England. She was the first wife of Henry VIII. Do you remember he had 6 wives? Yes? Okay, the divorced, beheaded, died, divorced, beheaded and survived. First wife, Catherine of Aragon, she only gave him a daughter, Mary. He wanted a son, so he wanted to have that marriage annulled so he could marry number 2, Anne Boleyn, but he needed permission from the Pope. So the King of Spain, who was the nephew of Catherine of Aragon, he imprisoned the Pope inside St. Angel's Castle so he couldn't sign the annulment of the marriage. But anyway, Henry didn't need permission from the Pope because that's when he broke away from the Catholic Church and became the head of the Church of England.
Back on the bus heading out of Rome, back towards the cruise ship to start our second journey. Tam's on the bus. Jordan's on the bus. We have about an hour and a half to get back to the Civitavecchia cruise terminal. So. We're back in the port area. We've left the ship this morning, ending our 6-day Adriatic cruise. Did the panoramic shore excursion of Rome, and now we're back at the port, and then we will begin our 15-day transatlantic crossing. Okay, part 2, 15-day transatlantic. We're getting up to the go sail away party, or the meetup party.
That one skipped up.
Well, you know, I
This is a meetup for the Facebook group for this sailing. People are up here on deck.
And after this one is gonna get
So, yeah,
don't drink. Everything goes
Bring that plus.
That's why we left that when we got the ship. So you can take it. No, because Chris wants me to get
And we no longer have a ticket and we can't buy one.
Yeah. Oh no. Wow.
This is Bob, my husband. This is Michael.
It's a beautiful sunset here up in the solarium for the top tier sail away party. There's like a gazillion people up there. And Regents. And the beautiful sunset.
No, I can talk over him. He is my husband. I can say what I want.
Somebody's sailing away, actually, being pulled out by a tug.
Oh, yep.
It's us? No, it's not.
It's got the lip on the front. That's
Okay.
it. You want to see up
We'll
too?
see it because we're coming up here. Oh, maybe we will. We'll just stay in the elevator.
You can't stay down. So there's still a duck up there.
There goes Norwegian Star.
So there's some more ships that have actually had it before. And they were
We used our free casino money. I won 40 bucks. That's kind of a surprise.
I want nothing.
You had 4 cents. I had
4 cents.
literally nothing.
Yeah.
I was 0 cents.
Cam won 4 cents, but we donated it to whoever shows up at the machine next.
Yeah, 4 cents. I don't care.
And then, so we're just kind of killing time in the pub and really getting to drink. Jordan was finishing her Pretty in Pink, which was more yellow than pink.
It was more alcohol than pretty pink.
It's more alcohol than pretty. And then we're going to go to dinner,
Which has changed to 8 p.m.
8 p.m. dinner.
Which we like better.
I
Yeah, that
read
works.
that really fast, so the boat's rocking.
The boat's
Oh, the
rocking.
boat is rocking.
There was going to be 6-foot waves.
Yeah. And then we're going to go to dinner, and then probably me and Cam are going to go to back to the room, go to bed. George probably go to the LGBTQ plus thing, and then
Depends on what time did it finish. Rather high politics or sit around for a bit then LBP. That's like 11:50.
and then the club.
10:45.
That one.
And then we'll probably see you around morning trivia.
Back to mine.
With a free specialty coffee for me.
with a free specialty coffee in hand. But tomorrow there's some seminars. We're gonna go see how we're made of star stuff, the Carl Sagan quote. And then there's one on interstellar space travel. Well, check the math for him on that one.
Why not?
And then it's a sea day.
Getting off.
Yeah, it's a sea day. It's a sea day, so we're gonna stay on the ship all day. And then
No wakeboarding.
no wakeboarding. And that's our plan. So day 1 of the 15-night transatlantic crossing. Our next shore excursion stop is in Cartagena, Spain, where we're going to get off and do just see what's in port. Maybe a hop on, hop off. I think they have a hop on, hop off bus in port.
I think so.
It's €7, I think. So that's our plan. All right, we have left Civitavecchia, heading to Cartagena, Spain. It's a bit breezy. It's probably about 6-foot waves. So Tam had the soup, it was really good.
Wild mushroom soup.
I had the Waldorf salad. You can tell I didn't eat the purple thing. Jordan is still eating pumpkin soup, butter and squash.
Why not Scotch pumpkin depending on where you're from?
And so that was our appetizer. So fun fact, they've moved us over here to 532. Apparently tomorrow night we go back over to our original area with our original waitress, Abigail.
You guys, how is the same table? But I feel like it's a different number.
It seemed like it was a different number.
We'll see.
We'll see. And there's some pinnacles wanted this table apparently for some reason.
Their table. Their table from last cruise.
There's been a bunch of mess-ups on the switch over from back-to-back. While we were on the shore excursion, apparently it messed up a whole bunch of things. We missed it all, but we got a notice in our room apologizing for the mix-up. No, now we've got another.
Just here behind us.
Yeah, so we hear some things, you know, from surrounding tables where people are moving too. So I've got my Robert Lobby Merlot, and Jordan's got the
Pretty pink. It's actually pink.
Actually pink. It matches the jacket.
I did not plan that. I just like it.
Both pretty and pink. Those things are. It's raining seafood.
Prawns and scallops.
And Jordan's just got the white fish, I guess.
Cod. Potato and peas.
And I've got the Guinness pie. It's what's for dinner. I had the warm chocolate cake. And you've got the berry and pear cobbler.
Something like that.
Something like that. Yum. Dessert. And now, to a Syrian refugee fleeing the... Nope, that's not it. The artist wanted a sculpture that wouldn't be by Canadian artist Timothy P. Schmaltz. Yo, wow.